have a seat, and let's just stay in this consciousness that you are the face of God. You are the very expression of God. And so let's just close our eyes and open in prayer, as we always do. And just relax. Take a deep breath in. Let go of all of the activity of the morning. And let's just allow ourselves to be fully centered, fully present, right here and right now. And as we take a breath in, let's feel that light energy moving into us, right from our crown chakra. This light that is the very light of God, the light of wisdom and strength, inspiration, the light of God, filling every part of us. And shifting our focus to our heart, we connect right now with that power of love, that unconditional love that knows oneness, a love that unifies, harmonizes, lifts, and heals, a love that is no beginning and no end. And as we feel this light and love that is our very nature, the nature of God, moving in and through us, we let it fill this sacred space, lifting, loving, supporting each and every person that is here physically or virtually. And this light and love of God flows out into our community, into our country, lifting each and every person in this light, wisdom, in this love, which is the divine nature of God, out into our world, especially to those areas that are in violence and conflict, where there's starvation and pain and suffering, all beings lifted into this light and love of God. And we see all the world leaders in wisdom and love, and envelop our planet Earth. And so it is. Amen. And what we usually do here in Unity, and have been doing it for this whole last year, is we set our intention to remember that we'll start with, we are the face of God, and that we are this very divine nature, that we are, in fact, divine beings, and that each and every one of us is interconnected, so that actually what happens to you impacts me. And in this time of the world where there is so much change and so much, there are pockets where there's a lot of pain and suffering, it's important for us to remember this, that oneness. Unity's whole prayer emphasis is on the fact that we are one, that we are interconnected. And so with that in mind, I invite you to look around to your neighbor, wherever they are. They could be in front of you, behind you, next to you. And as you look at them, just hold that idea in your mind, that you see and honor the divine in each and every person here. I also would like to ask, are there anyone here for the first time? Raise your hand. Okay. We want to welcome you, and our congregants will now look for you at the end of the service to welcome you to our church. And I want to welcome those of you that are watching virtually as well, because, you know, this is a morning that we could be doing anything that we choose. There's lots of things, lots of options. And those of you have chosen to come out and be present here with us. And I, for one, certainly appreciate that. That is what we are here all about, spiritual community, that we come together, not just to be inspired, but to love each other, to be here present in case somebody comes in and needs that extra attention, that extra love, that extra support. And for those of you joining us virtually, we are here to love you as well. So now we are going to do our next song. So we stand up again.
I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am
Good morning. I'm Bob Casey, and I'm your platform leader today. Let's set our intention for today with our statement of faith. Together, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life and affairs, God the Good. Our daily word reading is called Alive. I am wondrously, gloriously alive. What a gift it is to wake up in the morning and greet the new day. I feel full of enthusiasm, alert and awake to the wonders of the world. I may have plans for the day ahead or feel open to enthusiasm and vigor, eager to give myself fully to whatever I choose to do. The world feels full of color and vibrant energy when I bring my zeal and vitality to it. When I'm interested in life, involved and curious, I become magnetic, drawing people to me. I give thanks for another day and for the gift of my life. I show my gratitude by being fully alive. I am enthused and ready to take my place in this wonderful world. I affirm I am grateful for my life and so happy to be alive. Our scripture for today is Romans chapter 12, verse 11. Do not lag in zeal. Be ardent in spirit, serve the Lord. And our affirmation is, I am a magnificent power of zeal, enthusiastic, audacious, and devoted. Let's repeat that together. I am a magnificent power of zeal, enthusiastic, audacious, and devoted. Amen to that. Now some music from the Band.
Good morning. And it is a beautiful morning. 1, 2. It's a beautiful morning. I think I'll go outside for a while. Just smile, just take some clean air. Ain't no sense staying inside if the weather's fine and you've got the time. It's your chance to wake up and plan for the brand new day. It's a beautiful morning. Each bird keeps singing his own song. So long, I've gotta be on my man, yeah. Ain't no fun hanging around. Gotta cover ground, keep you down. Just ain't no good if the sun shines and you're still around. You shouldn't There will be children with robins and flowers. Sunshine caresses each new waking hour. Seems to me that people keep seeing more and more each day. The way it's a brand new day. Nothing more to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. That was great. Okay. So, who woke up this morning feeling full of life, ready to just be awake, alive, and enthusiastic? Show of hands. All right. Well, we have some, not everybody. How many of us, sometimes it's contingent on an outside situation. How many of us looked outside and it was still dark early? Okay. I got up before my dog. I have to tell you, normally, as soon as the light cracks, she's out of bed. She sleeps with me. She's out of bed, and she's coming kind of to wake me up. It's like, hey, I'm ready to go in the yard. This morning, well, I get up early on Sundays, earlier than normal on Sundays anyway, but this morning, I got up, and she just, opened an eye and kept sleeping. It was like it was dark, So not everybody wakes up full of enthusiasm. What if there are things that you're dealing with? A health challenge, a financial challenge, a relationship challenge, any of these things that life sometimes we find ourselves facing in a life situation. Do you open your eyes in the morning and say, thank you, God, I'm ready. I'm just ready for this day? What if we can, we just finished a series. You may not know that we're done, but we are. We just finished a series based on the book of Joy. And it was by the Dalai Lama and the Archbishop Desmond Tutu. And it was really, that was the whole premise, is how do we find joy within ourselves, regardless of what's happening out here? All spiritual principles focus on that, don't they? We're talking about opening up to a power that's already present within us. And that is what we're doing with this power of zeal. So what we're going to be looking at today is, how do we connect to this energy? Everything is energy. How do we connect to this energy of zeal? And it has nothing to do with what's happening out there. Just in case, we do have somebody new here today, so I just want to set the tone. What we're talking about with powers, so what we've been doing is the second Sunday of each month, we have been focusing on one of the 12 powers. Our co-founders, Myrtle Fillmore and Charles Fillmore, can't believe I just, okay, it wasn't in my brain. Okay, Charles Fillmore talked about attributes that are present within us because they realized, I am a child of God. I am a child of God. Myrtle began this journey, which ended up becoming unity with that very statement, right? I am a child of God. I do not inherit sickness. So as a child of God, this meditation, this focus that Charles brought to everything came to the conclusion that God is not out here and we are separate, that we are one. And this comes from the Bible. The Father and I are one. All of those things. I am the light, you are the light. What I can do, you can do. It was an invitation to all of us to shift out of separation and into oneness. And so with this idea that we are one, that we are all this expression of God, what does that actually mean? I'm an expression of God. What it means, what Charles and Myrtle said, what I believe that it means, is that we can only be what we are made in the image and likeness of, right? You have an acorn. It can only become an oak tree. You have an apple seed. It can only produce apples. This is the inherent nature. And we are made in the image and likeness of God. This is an invitation that was talked about in the New Testament. And so what that means is that we have the very attributes of God within us. And what are these attributes? Well, that's what Charles wrote about when he did the 12 powers. He looked at if God is this universal intelligence, spirit, God, divine mind, substance, where everything is already present. Everything is already present. And that's what we're going to be focusing on in our metaphysics class that's coming up Tuesday starting. So if you want to understand this in a deeper level, join me. So everything is already there present, all these ideas, all these attributes, and they are inherent within us because we are spiritual beings having this human experience. So we have the human side of us, which is emotions, thinking, all of that defense mechanism that helps us, we think, keep ourselves safe, and sometimes it does, and sometimes it's a block. And we also have this divine nature. And so in order for us to really tap into and learn how to make the most of these attributes, Charles Fillmore broke them apart into different aspects. And each month we've been looking at these different aspects: love, strength, power, which is word, will, all of these different aspects. And today we're looking at zeal. So I want to start, since we've just been talking about Charles Fillmore, I'm going to start with this quote. Charles Fillmore said this quote at 94 years old, by the way. I fairly sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm and spring forth with a mighty faith to do the things that ought to be done by me. This is a very famous quote, and I think it's a very famous quote in the unity world. I think it's a very famous quote because he was 94, and he still was expressing this enthusiasm for life. How many of us get influenced by outside things where we're told, okay, you reach a certain age and you should retire? And what does retirement look like? Perhaps it's playing golf, going to the beach, whatever. Maybe you're starting to say, oh, I'm a little older, so now my body is having this problem and this problem and this problem. What if we don't tap into that? What if we just keep ourselves focused on, what am I? What is calling to me? Am I interested in retirement? Can look different to so many different people. You can become a volunteer. You can do all sorts of different activities. We don't have to just make it all about having fun, right? Look at some of the leaders, like we just looked at with Dalai Lama and the Archbishop Desmond Tutu, up until the end of their life, which happened for the Archbishop. Dalai Lama is still with us. And he's still talking, praying, preaching, talking to people about all of these spiritual truths, how we are one, we looked at some of his suggestions: mental immunity, how to train what we think, similar to what we learn here in Unity, which is that where we put our thoughts and our energy, that is what we create in our life, right? Where we put our thoughts and our emotions, our energy. It isn't just, I like to put it this way. If you're going through the woods and you just walk down this path, there's no path. You're just making your own path. You're walking through the woods and you do it once. There's no path behind you. But if you do the same thing every single day, you go down this same direction into the woods, eventually what happens? It creates a path, right? That is what we're talking about when we say, if we keep focusing on, I can't, I'm not enough, all of those kind of things, that is where we find ourselves stuck. And that is what ends up being a manifestation in our life. So, Charles is saying everything is energy, and energy is neutral. Energy is neutral. We have different vibrational energies. If we want to talk at zeal, that would be, just think about it, it's got to be a high one, right? Because it's motivating us. You can almost feel like, I'm sizzling, I'm with enthusiasm. It kind of calls your body to move, doesn't it? Apathy is another emotion, the opposite of zeal. What does apathy feel like? I don't want to move. So energy has a vibrational tone to it. And the higher vibrations can help lift the lower vibrations. So if you do this mind immunity, which was our Buddhist practice, we can call it denial and affirmation here in Unity. But if you start to focus, because this zeal is a spiritual quality. And what do we know about all of our spiritual principles? They're coming from here. They're coming from within, right? It's not about the external. So this is why we are able to release the power of zeal within us, regardless of if we're waking up and we don't feel good. Now, I just had been not feeling good myself in September, and I can tell you that there were 2 days where I really didn't feel like I could get out of bed. That's not what we're talking about. Sometimes our body needs to pause in order to be repaired, right? You don't want to be trying to push yourself when your cells need to be rejuvenating themselves. So it's not that, but what it is, and I'll just move into Myrtle Fillmore. What it is Myrtle Fillmore was diagnosed with tuberculosis, and she was given a very short period of time to live. At that point, she was already married to Charles, and they went to a lecture. They were interested in this religious ideas that were prevalent at the time, we call it now New Thought, 1890s, a lecture by E.B. Wicks, and he said, this is where she came home with this idea. You are a child of God. You do not inherit sickness. She took that to heart. This is zeal, okay? This is zeal. It is an energy that is directed. It's an energy that is harnessed for our good. I'm going to go back to Myrtle's story, but I want to just say we can have energy, we can have enthusiasm, and we can have zeal. What about somebody who is enthusiastic about something and they started and they're all, I love this idea. I'm going to take this project on. I'm going to bring people and do it. And then all of a sudden, it's like, okay, what's the next thing that can excite me? So it can be very scattered, right? And it almost can feel chaotic if a person has all this kind of energy. What we're talking about with zeal as a spiritual principle is this energy that comes from within that is focused and harnessed onto an ideal that is for the good of everyone. So you can have somebody who's very full of zeal. Maybe they're a CEO of a big company, and what their focus is on is making money, and they don't care, but they're committed. They're driven. They're driven. That is not the spiritual principle of zeal. Because when we talk about a spiritual principle, just like we began saying we are all interconnected, what we're really talking about is zeal is an energy that moves us to express our gifts that have to be for the best and highest good of all. That is what we're called to do. Express our gifts, but these in a way that is for the best and highest good of all, because we are all connected. Oneness. So if I step on people to achieve my passion, then we really are not, this is where we say energy isn't good or bad, but the way we use it can be used for good or bad, right? So we want to think about that way. So going back to Myrtle, what she did was when she heard this, she came back and she started focusing. This is harnessing her zeal. She was excited to hear this. It touched and resonated something within her soul. You are a child of God. You do not inherit sickness. And in this process, what she started to do was pray. And she prayed for hours each day. And she did this for at least 2 years. Each day, she sat in prayer, blessing, loving, focusing on the good that was the energy of life flowing through every cell of her body. And she brought her faith, here with a mighty faith. She brought her faith. She believed. She had complete conviction that this passion, this focused energy was going to turn her life around, and she was healed. She lived to 86, and she was in her 40s when that happened. So I fairly sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm and spring forth with a mighty faith to do the things that ought to be done by me. So here is Charles Fillmore's definition of zeal. It is the great universal force that impels man to spring forward in a field of endeavor and accomplishment and accomplish the seemingly miraculous. It is the inward fire that urges man onward, regardless of the intellectual mind of caution and conversation. So what zeal is this inherent power, and it is a universal force. Susan's song was beautiful because she was talking about walking in nature. We see nature. We see the zeal of life in nature. Did you ever see birds, singing and singing and singing with enthusiasm? And what does that do? For me, when I hear my birds in the morning, when I sit to do my quiet time, I've shared this before, I seem to, again, I don't have a big woods behind my house. It's not that kind of a setting. So these birds sit on the roof of another house or by fence or something like that. But boy, do they chirp and chirp and chirp. They make a big, loud noise. And I love it. And I love it. It makes me, it puts a zeal and an enthusiasm into my life. So it is the inner fire that urges man onward. That is what zeal is. It is this urge of creation for us to create. We evolve. We've talked about evolution here at different points and stuff, and we can evolve intellectually, what we understand about the world, about our own bodies, about all of these things, traveling to space. We also evolve spiritually. And there's these ideas that Charles and Myrtle talked about, wrote about, taught in the late 1800s and early 1900s were revolutionary for that time. Not in all different religions, because they drew from Buddhism, they drew from other religious denominations. But the whole idea that this was presented with a Christian undertone, using the Bible, using the Jesus, what Jesus was all about, that he isn't here as the only begotten Son. We are all the begotten children of God. That's what we just said. We are all these expressions of God. So his journey was to wake us up to a new perspective, a new way of understanding God, our relationship to God, from what the Old Testament, from the Hebrew scriptures, what they were talking about. So that idea now is really become very prevalent all around. You've got Deepak Chopra, you've got Eckhart Tolle, you have Marianne Williamson, Course in Miracles. You have all of these spiritual ideas that really are very similar to what we talk about here in Unity. We used to be more unique in those ideas, but the whole point, which is exciting, is that these ideas have become commonplace. that we can listen to all sorts of things, on your phone now, if you want, and hear a message that tells us something very similar to this. That is the inward fire that moves man onward. That is what Charles was understanding, is that we're always evolving if we are open, if we wake up. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples, and I want to start with this one, a quote. Bob had a version of that on the reading that we had today, and it says, this is Paul's, Romans 12:11-12. Be enthusiastic to serve the Lord, keeping your passion toward him boiling hot. Radiate with the glow of the Holy Spirit and let him fill you with excitement. That's almost like the sizzling with zeal, isn't it? That's pretty dramatic language, right? Keep your passion boiling hot and radiate it out. That's the zeal we're talking about. The inner quality, the inner power of zeal. Not just the zeal that makes us want to be successful out here and achieve all sorts of things. No, this zeal that is a passion for God. To be this very expression of God. And to be the very expression of God means that we are recognizing our interconnectedness. We are recognizing our oneness. We are acting in love, kindness, compassion. That's how we express God, right? Isn't that what Jesus taught? Love? What did he say? The first commandment, love God, love your neighbor, love your enemy. Love your enemy. Shine your light. Don't hide it under the bushel of fear, anger, judgment. Shine your light. What I can do, you can do. Well, you can't do what Jesus was doing unless you get into the same mindset, right? So, Paul is a wonderful example of zeal. Paul had his conversion on the road to Damascus. Remember the story? He's riding out. He was a tax collector. He was Jewish, but he was also working as a tax collector. And Jesus has already been crucified. He's already been resurrected, and that story's past. So Paul is impacted on this road to Damascus with this conversion. And he falls off his horse, blinded by this bright light, and he hears the voice of Jesus, and he goes on. It is his transformation. Sometimes our inner transformation can be as dramatic as that. And sometimes it is a slow, educational variety. That's how it is for most of us. But we can have different moments where something propels us more dramatically in a different direction. And that was what happened to Paul, but it was a big dramatic moment. From that point on, he went out to preach. And the reason that Paul is such a wonderful example of zeal is that not only did he write this, but that is the passion that drove him. Remember what we said, zeal is an energy that is directed, harnessed towards an ideal, towards something that you're moving towards. And so Paul covered 10,000 miles. Now remember, this is back before there were cars and any kind of easy way to travel. He did most of that walking. There weren't inns and places to stay. Sometimes he had to just pitch a tent and stay on the side of the road. He took cargo ships. He was shipwrecked several times. He was arrested and imprisoned different times. He went 10,000 miles, which is really an unusual accomplishment for that period of time. Writing, out of the 27 books that are in the New Testament, he wrote 13 of them. So he was prolific the whole time that he was doing this, because he had this passion that was boiling hot inside of him. Now, we don't have to, you can say, okay, yes, Paul had this major conversion and that's what drove him. But I want to bring you back to who we were talking about just the other Sunday. And it was the Archbishop Desmond Tutu. Let's go to him. What he did is he had a passion, he had a zeal, and his zeal was for human rights. And it didn't stop through his whole life, right up to the end, where he dealt with his vision of how to break down apartheid, segregation in South Africa, doing it nonviolently, doing it with passion and zeal. Whenever something happened, instead of becoming angry, well, he said, I get angry, and then I pray. And then I turn within. But that is an example of zeal, isn't it? The harnessed energy. And it was also for women to be clergy. It was for the LGBTQ group of people to be accepted in the Christian denomination. Human rights, that is what his passion was. One of the things that he said is, you may look at these people that are extreme examples and say, oh yes, but that's kind of, above and beyond. And he said what they do is they show us that it can be done by anyone. So our reading today that Bob gave us so beautifully said, do I wake up in the morning? Do I wake up in the morning excited about the day? We get to choose that. What if you are feeling challenged? I didn't feel enthusiastic for many months after my husband passed away. I would wake up and I would be like very depressed. Grief shows up as depression. But I understood that, and I still could set my intention. Let me try to function today to the best that I can. I sat and did the practice that I always do, even if I couldn't focus. I know for weeks I couldn't meditate, but I picked up my books. I did the things that I typically do. So we don't strive for perfection. We just strive to be consistent. We can draw on the power of strength for that. Perseverance, dedication, commitment, faith, knowing that this too will pass, even if it doesn't feel like it in the moment. That's how we can access zeal. It might just be the energy to get us out of bed. Maybe it isn't the energy to travel 10,000 miles. Maybe it's the energy to get us out of bed. Maybe it's the energy to say, what do I need to do today? Do I need to just make sure I'm cooking my meal and walking the dog and doing the things that are mine to do? This is how we get to choose. We stay anchored in our faith. We stay anchored in this boiling hot connection to the God that is within and that is waiting to lift us. These are the powers that will carry us. This is how we access through prayer and meditation. But it's a practice. And again, it doesn't have to be done perfectly, but you do it. Like the Dalai Lama said, I pray 5 hours each morning. Well, that's a long time to be in prayer. So the Archbishop said, I can't pray 5 hours a day. I can only pray 4. But he does it all through the day. He takes time throughout the day to connect to God. We all can do that. We can all take, my minister, Jim Rosemergy, used to always talk about take 5, take 5. Before we would sit down to do any kind of talking or anything, he would go, let's go into the silence for 5. And he would say, before you pick up the phone, you know you've got to call someone, take 5. You can do this. This is a constant connection to the God that we are, the God within. So, zeal is the affirmative impulse of existence. It is the command to go forward. It is the mighty energy that incites all things into action, the eternal urge behind all things. So I invite you right now to think about this quality of zeal. We talked a lot about it. To realize that no matter where we are in life's journey, if we're in a challenging moment, and I know some of you are here in our congregation, life could be flowing wonderfully. Everything in my life is good. Everything is fine. And I can still harness zeal to be of service, to bring my gifts into this world, to shine my light into the world. There's always more I can be doing as far as being of service. And that is one of the things, that was the main lesson I got out of the Book of Joy, is that the first place is our own inner transformation, right? We have to remember, we have to do our practice. We have to focus on how do we release these powers. When we do that, when we do say, okay, let's say we're doing prayer and meditation, and I need to focus on zeal. And when I say I need to, perhaps it is that moment when you've got an illness and you're frightened. So why would zeal be important? Because it is releasing us to do the things that are mine to do, and to do it with enthusiasm. Yes, I can make the changes that I need to do. I can focus on eating differently, doing the exercise routines, whatever it is that is mine to do, that maybe if I stayed rooted in fear and depression, I would just say, oh my goodness, look at what's happened. Let me pull the covers over my head. Which I've been there. I'm not judging anybody, including myself. We may have that moment. And that is when we can remember. If we're on the spiritual journey, that is when we can remember. I have something within me. I can open. I can call up. And I do that by thinking about zeal. I release all the fear. That's our denial. I let go. I let go of all this fear. I let go of all this anxiety. I let go of all my concern, whether it's about the outer world or my own personal stuff. I let it all go. And I sit now and I breathe and I focus on what is zeal. Zeal is an energy. It's an energy that is within me. It's an energy that is part of my divine being. And I open now, as we had that beautiful affirmation, I open now to the power of zeal within to lift me, to get me excited, encourage me to be enthusiastic, to be open and boldly able to do the things that are mine to do. And then just sit silently and feel that energy, feel enthusiasm, feel the excitement coming up. Just allow yourself to connect to that. That is what builds consciousness. That is what builds the power of zeal to activate it inside of you and get you going. And the more that you do it, you'll start to move out of that depression or whatever it is that is anchoring you in the wrong place. And I'm going to finish with this personal story. So like I had shared, after my husband passed away, I struggled with a lot of things because he was the caretaker in our relationship, as I know I've shared with all of you. He did the cooking and the grocery shopping, the laundry. He paid the bills. So now he's gone, and I'm all alone. It was a massive stroke, so I didn't see it coming. And so now I'm by myself, and I'm saying to myself, oh my goodness, I've never lived alone for most of my adult life. I've always had someone in my life, my son, somebody, and now here I am all by myself. This is a new thing, and I don't really want to shape up and grow up at this point in my life. I liked having somebody taking care of me. I don't want to have to learn how to take care of myself. So I had a lot of resistance. What do we know about resistance? Pain and suffering comes from resistance. But I wasn't able to, I knew that up here intellectually, but I wasn't able to move out of that. But I did the practice I always did. I sat in my morning chair and I read the things, but I couldn't focus and become still. My brain wasn't working that way. After quite a few months, though, I said, I am so tired of this heavy energy that makes me want to take these big, long naps. I am so tired of feeling sad. I want to feel alive. Zeal. I want to feel engaged in life again. When I think about my husband, I want to do it with a smile and like the thoughts rather than, this way. So I started reading about divine audacity. And there was a little, from Linda Martellowicz's book, a little section that talked about how I boldly apply spiritual principles to everyday parts of my life, all of these things. But I read it every single day for a month. And I have to tell you, at the end of the month, the weight was gone. The weight was gone. That's all I had to do, is pick that reading up because it spoke to me. It was something I had read a long time ago, but it called to me, and I read it every single day. And that heavy energy left. And now I have to share something that I'm a little excited about. I'm actually enjoying cooking in the kitchen. I made this, I found a recipe, and then I went in my closet. My pantry is a closet, and I went in the closet and I said, do I have any of these things? I had this frozen shrimp, and I wanted to make this pasta dish. And I'm looking, and I said, oh, look, there's a can of this. Oh, I have this in my hand. And then I followed the recipe and made myself a nice dinner, and I was like enjoying myself in the kitchen. I said, who would have known? I mean, I was never a cook. My son could attest to that. The kitchen was never my room. But, I'm evolving. I'm letting myself experience, whatever comes up. We can do this. If I can do it, you can do it. That was the whole point of what Archbishop Desmond Tutu was saying. If we recognize and see the people who sometimes we see that are bigger than life, what they're showing is that it can be little steps, but it can be big steps. We can take big steps. If you don't like the way things are in our country, in our world right now, you can change your mind and do something different. That is how powerful we can be. That is how powerful we can be. Remember, the thoughts and the emotions create our experiences. And if you get with like-minded people, you can be a light in the world. We can be an antidote. There's an awful lot of anger and ugly language that goes on right now. We can remind ourselves and everybody else with kindness, with compassion, with patience. We can be a light. And we can have that boiling desire within us expressing out, because zeal is a spiritual quality, and so it is. Amen. So let's take these into meditation now. So let's just get ready. We're going to go into the silence, but let's just relax and close our eyes, taking a deep breath in. And just feel every part of you relaxing. But I want you now to bring your attention to the base of your skull, where the back of your skull reaches the top of your neck. That is the point that Charles Fillmore, who used energy centers, where Charles Fillmore focuses zeal. And picture a bright orange light moving right now into that space between your skull and your neck, the medulla, that center of energy. And as we relax our body and feel this energy of zeal filling all of us, filling us up. I am enthusiastic. I am enthusiastic about the gifts that I have to bring to this life, to bring to this world. I am excited to face each morning and do the things that are mine to do. I fairly sizzle with zeal. It is an inner flame. It is a place that is boiling hot to know God, to know God, to feel that energy guiding me, directing me, harnessing that energy to an ideal to be expressed. I am enthusiastically alive with the power of zeal. And now we listen.
Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. I will never forget you. I will never forsake you. I will never forget you. I will never forsake you. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. 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 I will never forget you. I will never forsake you. I will never forget you. I will never forsake you. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song.
Let's take another deep breath in, move around a little bit in your chair, and when you're ready, open up your eyes and return to this present place. Okay, and now we're going to shift our energy. This is a time we get to practice giving and receiving, and we know that as we give, so we receive. That's the other spiritual principle that comes, everything comes as we open up and send it out, whether it's our giving of tithes, our giving of our time, our talent, whatever it is. As we give, we open up a space to receive, because we can't receive when we're clutching tightly, can we? So let's take out our love offerings now, and those of you that are joining us virtually, you too can participate in this important spiritual practice, supporting your church. You can go to our website and press our donate button and do a PayPal or send a check directly to the church. We have what's called a 3G giving plan, which means you can call the office, and here's the steps you take. You give them your credit card, you tell them the amount, and you tell them on what day you want that money deposited into the church account. So it's done automatically. And then you don't have to have your wallet with you when you come. You just don't have to worry about it anymore, and we know what to anticipate. So let us now say our affirmation together. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am and have, all that I give and receive.
All right, here's a little song about zeal. This is called Skateboard Johnny. it's the latest craze. Pockets full of stuff that you find on the street. It's the wild unknown that makes life so sweet. Skateboard Johnny, he don't even care, 'cause he knows what's happening, 'cause he's right there. I'm free to be, and it ain't no crime. I can turn this rig 3 times on a dime. Life's what you make it when the golden sun is beating down. I know lots of places that you've never seen in this part of town. Roll those Cadillac wheels down the street. I don't even have to walk my feet. Skateboard Johnny, he's a millionaire. 1,000,000 miles of sidewalk stretching everywhere. Street cruising through the summer days and enjoying life like it's the latest craze. Life's what you make it when the golden sun is beating down. I know lots of places that you've never seen in this part of town. Roll those Cadillac wheels down the street. I don't even have to walk my feet. Skateboard Johnny, he's a millionaire. 1,000,000 miles of sidewalk stretching everywhere. Street cruising through the summer days and enjoying life like it's the latest craze.
Thank you, Greg. Okay, let's bring up our love offerings, and I invite you to close your eyes right now, and we're going to bless these love offerings. We open up right here and right now to the power of zeal. We are so enthusiastic to be able to receive these gifts that are so freely given. We thank you, we thank God, we thank each and every one that we are open to our good, that abundance is flowing freely right here and right now in every aspect of our life. And so it is. Amen. Okay, so Bob is going to tell us what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Just had to get to the right page. Hey, so join Reverend Annie today after service for a deeper dive into the unity power of zeal. Attend this eye-opening discussion in person or via Zoom from noon to 1. Reverend Ellen will launch a new class titled Heart-Centered Metaphysics on Tuesday, October 14th, offering sessions at 12 noon in person and on Zoom, as well as a Zoom-only session at 7 p.m. This weekly love offering class will delve into topics such as metaphysics and truth, self-knowledge, spiritual evolution, oneness, and creation. This continues to explore new and different ideas and concepts metaphysically. Participants do not need to have taken Metaphysics 1 to enjoy this class. Our following chili cook-off will be on Saturday, October 25th from 5 to 7 p.m., and here's Melanie to fill us in.
Thanks, Bob. Okay, the biggest pumpkin in the world was just harvested in Maine. Any guesses for how much that pumpkin weighed? I hear 800, I hear 1,000. 1,600 pounds.
Oh, my goodness.
It was bigger than 3 people at least. Well, you want to see something really great, something really big, is all the fun that we are going to have at our Halloween event. You can wear your favorite costume or your favorite fall garb, fall colors. Come out. It's a fundraiser for the church. $20 a ticket. It's a chili cook-off, so our menu is going to be chili with all the sides. And you know, I'm a Southerner, so we eat chili a certain way. There are people who eat chili with corn chips on it, and people who eat chili with all kinds, chili with no beans, chili with no meat. It's just going to be really fun to see all the different ways that we eat chili. So we'll have chili for dinner with all the sides, dessert. We have music trivia, some games. We'll have the $1 Your Choice raffles, where we have all kinds of cool prizes that you can just put your $1 raffle ticket into. And it's all to benefit the church. So we hope to see you there on the 25th. I'll be over here signing up folks to bring your chili, donate a raffle prize, volunteer to help, and of course, most important of all, buy your ticket. So we hope to see you then. Thanks.
Thank you, Melanie. Lifeline Screening Association will be returning on Tuesday, October 28th from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Please check our website to RSVP for cardiovascular and stroke screenings. Our core outreach project for October is a beloved UCR tradition, Coats for Kids. Bring new or gently used coats for children ages kindergarten through high school. Place them on the table by the band, and thank you. For details, visit unitychurchofraleigh.com and at our Unity Holistic Wellness. Yoga is on Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Our caregiver support group has been canceled for this afternoon. Vibe up with Stacy Page next Sunday, October 19th from 5 to 7. Come refresh your spirit and renew your energy with gentle yoga, meditation, and a sound bath. For details, visit unityholisticwellnesscenter.org. The Healing Prayer Circle is right after the service, followed by hospitality. Do we have any kids here today with us?
Nope.
No. Okay. Yeah, I guess that's it for me.
Thank you, Bob. A lot going on, so I plug in what's speaking to you. And now we'll do our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us.
Love of God enfolds us.
The power of God protects us.
Power of God protects us.
The presence of God washes over us.
The presence of God watches over us.
Wherever we are, God is.
Wherever we are, God is.
And all is well.
And all is well.
And now let's stand and sing our peace song.
Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as Creator, united all are we. Yes, we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me, and this is the moment now. With every step I take, that gives me my joyful vow to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins
And I invite you as you go out from here today to remember that this power of zeal is within you, and you can choose to access it. You can choose to connect and open to that activity of God within. And so it is. So let us now form our circle. It's a wiggly circle. So we're going to do that, and we have our prayer box right here. And can you Oh, Melanie's going to grab our prayer box. Oops. Melanie, could you grab our prayer box? Okay. We like to bring our prayer box in. And Melanie is our prayer team leader, and she writes absolutely beautiful prayers. So if you have a prayer request, please contact us. You can do that by calling the office or sending an email in, and then she will write the prayer. And then our prayer team holds that prayer request in prayer, and then it goes on to Silent Unity for the next 30 days. So Unity was founded on prayer, as we talked about this morning. So let's just do this right now. Let's just open to the power of zeal. Taking a deep breath in, let's let go of any fears, any concerns, anything that is distracting you from the presence of God within. Just breathe it out and let it go, and shift your attention within and feel this energy. Feel this positive energy of zeal, this fire within our